Okay, cool. All right, cool. Thanks a lot, guys, for kind of letting me on, kind of very impromptu. So what you're seeing, very quickly, I just wanted to chat a little bit about some of the work that we've been doing with regards to that I think is very much inspired a lot by what's happening with M3. And I think I saw this, like, I think Jen, it was you today who shared someone who had written about this like term like Web3 plus WebXR, which is like Web3 XR. I don't know, maybe it was already coined at some point.
Yeah, we're trying to find who wrote it.
So I reached out to him, and I'm gonna have a conversation with him if you guys want to. Yeah, I'll bring him on. He does have a Discord, so I'll tell him to join kind of all the channels that we're in. The thing that you're seeing on screen is just a kind of some tooling that allows us to actually use crypto in VR. And I know Avier has been working pretty hard on this with ExoKid. This is just kind of just another kind of version of some of that. And it's basically Metamask working on Firefox Reality. About a couple weeks ago, Firefox Reality came out with support for add-ons, and which the Oculus browser doesn't have today. And what that enables is add-ons like Metamask. Right now, your current version of Firefox Reality doesn't actually support Metamask because it's not an approved kind of so-called add-on for VR. But we went into the source code of Firefox Reality and the Android components and kind of the Firefox browser and the Phoenix mobile browser, which Firefox Reality pulls its code from, to modify the add-ons, kind of the approved list of add-ons. And so now when you go, which I can share a link to the APK file you can try out, as well as the source codes that it was derived from. Now, if you go to Firefox Reality, you can actually create a MetaMask wallet. And like, as you can see here, you can go on Uniswap. I don't know who is gonna like actually use Uniswap in VR, but if you were to, if you wanted to provide liquidity through Uniswap, you can see that your wallet actually gets recognized here, which is pretty neat. And of course, like I think there's a bit of interest, and we've been in chat with a couple of people from MetaMask who reached out and are interested in bringing MetaMask into VR, which would be pretty neat. The other thing that I want to chat a little bit about, which I think is a sentiment that Avier also shared, is that I think with the forced logins that Facebook has been like enforcing in their new headsets, we need I think we need a much more open way for us to transact and kind of do commerce and purchase apps and distribute software in VR. And so hopefully kind of we can combine our efforts to make that possible as a community. I think, as you all know, SideQuest has raised about $650,000 from a couple of different investors, including Boost VC and even Palmer Luckey. And now they've got some money, but I think if they don't, really start to think about how they can mitigate the kind of platform risk that Facebook is kind of imposing on them, then I think it's going to be very difficult to kind of get out of that situation in a good way. And so, yeah, so that's also something that we've been thinking about. And this is just another demo that Lewis and Mark, a couple of other members of our team that we've been working with, have, we're now starting to enable kind of A-frame enabled crypto transactions in an open environment. And so we'll release kind of all the source code and some software for how to start doing that on your own headsets. Yeah, that's pretty much the the chat. Thanks a lot, Jin, for letting me take the stage.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, Aviar, we can go ahead.
um, I guess I don't know. One obvious one from like the last screenshot is how do you see like in VR transactions kind of happening? It looked like an Ethereum address there, but Ethereum fees are high and the transactions are slow. So how do you see that interacting with something like a VR world in A-frame?
Yeah, I think like if you're so I think what's been happening in DeFi is that most of the participants who have been able to benefit a lot from providing liquidity and being able to transact are mostly whales or like hedge funds or VCs with a lot of crypto, because the more liquidity you provide, the greater the incentive, and therefore that high incentive kind of offsets the transaction cost and whatnot. But for kind of everyday use of when you are transacting kind of on a regular basis, that is not it's not tenable. And so I think kind of going forward, I've looked into flow a little bit, and kind of the work that you guys are doing. I'm not too sure if like that's kind of a long-term solution, but hopefully, I mean, the long-term solution here, if we want to stay in Ethereum, is ETH2, um, and then kind of I guess an intermediate solution would be going like using layer twos, and Matic seems to be pretty promising as a layer two solution. I'm not so sure about optimistic rollups that the Optimism team is working on for Uniswap v3. So the next version of Uniswap should have Optimism kind of implemented, which should reduce transaction costs quite a bit. With Matic, you can get block finality in 2 seconds or something like that. So and I think their transaction fees have been less than 1 cent for most kinds of transactions, and so that's I think that's pretty good, kind of as an intermediate solution. When you're starting to talk about like other layer ones, like Flow or Polkadot or Cosmos or other, kind of other stuff like that, that might be kind of the end solution. I'm pretty optimistic about what Polkadot brings, because they've got a shared security model through their nominated proof of stake model, whereas Cosmos has more of a zoned, each blockchain provides its own security, which might not provide the same kind of scalability as Polkadot. So I'm pretty optimistic about Polkadot, but there's a lot of, I think it's very tribal, but at the end of the day, I think we'll just have to use whichever one works the best, and whichever one provides the best bridges for Ethereum. So
Right. I'm kind of hoping that like in the end, like it stops mattering, because like liquidity providers will just kind of like polyfill the gaps and like route these networks. But yeah, it's kind of a weird time that we're in. I had another small question. In terms of UX for like entering keys into MetaMask and just like logging in, how do you see that happening? Because my experience with that has been like really horrible. Not with what you guys are doing, but just like in general. Entering stuff into like the Quest has been a nightmare.
yeah. So entering your password for the first time that you set up MetaMask is like not too bad.
Mhm.
I know Oculus browser supports like, oh, like if you want to enter text from your phone, so you can send a notification to your phone, open that up, and then do it. But since we're on Firefox Reality, we don't get that, because we don't have the Oculus app kind of connection.
Mhm.
So that hasn't been too bad. Like the first time you enter a password is not too bad, and then subsequent transactions, we're working on a way to kind of, and we're looking for ideas, and we're very open to kind of listening to new ideas around how we can bring in the same kind of UX that you get on the desktop into an experience within WebXR, where you don't have to exit the VR experience. And so I think we've got a couple of ideas. One of them, something that you don't see in this tweet here, is like Lewis and Mark have been working on a way to kind of confirm transactions as like a module that pops up. I think Jin sent me like Jin had sent or like had uploaded like a video of you working on a way to confirm transactions like that are on your wrist and kind of that kind of UX form, which is really neat. Ours is just kind of a module that pops up within WebXR, and if you just press confirm, transaction goes through, and you can do whatever you want. I really liked your kind of idea of being able to trade, like pull out NFTs from your wallet that was on your wrist, and hopefully like if you have any ideas on how we can like work together to get that into like integrating that into like a shared wallet, that kind of shared wallet code base that we can work on, that would be really cool. Especially for NFTs in the VR space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hit me up. Well, we're both on Discord.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, awesome presentation. Thank you.